Movie supports the fact that the ancient Egyptians were skilled in the art of building great cities out of terrible CGI.
Thebes, city of the living.
Thebes is a real ancient city in Egypt, but it doesn't sit in the direct shadow of the pyramids of Giza. There was, however, a city in front of the pyramids. It's called Giza. Also, narration.
Home of Imhotep, keeper of the dead.
Real-life Imhotep was a cool dude. He was an innovative architect and made some important discoveries in medicine and revered as a god after his death. But because of this movie, the American public will only know him as the evil magic mummy with the giant mouth.
Birthplace of Anaxunamun.
Anaxunamun was a real person who was born around 1,000 years after Imhotep. If the movie's just going to make up characters from scratch, why does it have to be historically confusing by using real people's names? This would be like if people thousands of years from now made a movie where Leonardo da Vinci was a witch doctor secretly in love with Princess Diana. Maybe this is why no other man was allowed to touch her? It isn't a sex thing, they just don't want anyone messing up her body paint.
Yattamitatan.
Yeah, if her body paint is smeared, it must mean someone touched her. It couldn't mean she brushed up against something, or did it herself. And oddly enough, she doesn't even have that lie ready. Pharaoh confronts these two without bodyguards.
To resurrect Anaxunamun, Imhotep and his priests broke into her crypt and stole her body.
So Imhotep and his goons fled the crime scene without anyone suspecting he murdered the pharaoh and stole his mistress from her crypt without anyone stopping him. Man, security in Thebes was pretty Moon was Bruce Almighty in appearance back in 1290 BC. Why does she look nearly alive after having her organs removed? And did they not mummify her?
Anaxunamun's soul had come back from the dead, but Pharaoh's bodyguards had followed Imhotep and stopped him before the ritual could be completed.
If Imhotep and his buds didn't ceremoniously slow walk in with the book, they could have completed this task before the guards showed up. All of Imhotep's priests were secured in these torture contraptions, yet for some reason he needs to be held down by 4 people. The key that unlocks Imhotep's sarcophagus also unlocks both books of death and life.
The Magi would never allow him to be released, for he would arise a walking disease, a plague upon mankind, an unholy flesh-eater with the strength of ages.
Even if they thought there was no way he'd get out, why risk this? Couldn't they just torture and kill him normally without giving him a chance to come back as some kind of Superman?
For 3,000 years.
For 3,000 years, this narration continued.
You just got promoted.
This is the French Foreign Legion, and yet some American guy is second in command. Rick is allowed to shoot at these horsemen with no cover and receives no return fire. Also, a lot of the opposing side is using guns, but Brendan Fraser lucks out by getting all the ones who are swords only. And we've cornered the person we've identified as the main character of this film, so by God, take your time shooting him. Basically, all that this security system does is tell people they found the right place. We could kill him now, but let's make the desert decide this. Rachel Weisz isn't my librarian in this scene. As soon as the ladder goes perpendicular to the ground, the book Evie was just holding magically disappears. Also, Rachel Stiltskin, knocking over bookshelves like they're dominoes cliche.
Sons of the Pharaoh! Give me frogs! Flies! Locusts!
This man uses sons of pharaohs and the plagues as expletives, just to make triple sure you know we're in Egypt. Jonathan enlisted the help from the sound designer to scare his sister. Also, he decides to play this prank on his sister right after he heard what must have been a truly scary commotion coming from the other room when all the bookcases fell. He shrugged that off, decided nobody got hurt, and then dreamed up this stupid.
Have you no respect for the dead?
More importantly, have you no respect for the museum's assets and your sister's job?
My dear, sweet baby sister.
Expositional name-calling.
You stole it from a drunk at the local Casbah. This is the man that you stole it from?
Jonathan steals an ancient artifact from, for all he knows, a random drunk, and is able to quickly find him in a Cairo prison to ask him about where he found it. The Cairo prison is arranged so inmates can punch visitors in the face and sexually harass visitors from behind bars.
I will give you £100 to save this man's life.
This is almost the exact wrong time to begin the negotiations to save Rick's life. Unfortunately for the executioner, Rick strengthened his neck muscles every day from the time he was 4 to survive this hanging.
Do you really think he's going to show up?
What? They didn't ensure that he was going to go with them? They're just hoping he'll show up just as it's time to leave?
And when we got there, all we found was sand and blood.
And that weird mummy face that appeared out of nowhere in the sand that might have been a marker of some sort, probably warning people to stay away from it because it's the exact place you're looking for. All that's missing is this guy saying, "This here is my about to kill some people on a steamboat hook."
Well, without my glasses, I can't see the deck to cut it.
What he meant to say was, my glasses are going to be important to the plot later, so I want to make sure you and the viewing audience know this.
These Americans are smart. They pay me only half now, half when I get them back to Cairo.
Those wily Americans with their sneaky schemes of only paying someone a deposit before they execute the services they were hired for.
So this time I must go all the way.
You don't have to. You can just take the money they've given you and run. Movie expects me to believe Rick didn't notice anyone scale the side of the boat and come over the railing, even though he was standing just feet away. Dude somehow knows to go straight to Evie's room to look for the key, even though there is no way for him to know who she even is.
Where is the map?
By the way, why is there even a map to this place? I know the ancient Egyptians wanted to make sure nobody dug the mummy mummy up, and the Magi are sworn to protect it. But wouldn't they just know where it is and not need a map? And why make a map to the place when the entire goal is for nobody to dig it up ever in the history of time? These candle flames blow around before the guy actually opens the window to cause the candle flames to blow around. Also, once he opens this up, he forgets how to shoot.
Relax. I'm the map. It's all up here.
Further reason as to why the protectors of the ancient city did not need to make a map ever. What was this asshole doing the whole time? Was he the last resort, just in case somebody tries to escape the boat? Luckily, he was in the exact place he needed to be in order to do this.
Americans.
That's racist. How are these guys able to round up all the horses during the boat fire and lead them all to the shore?
Will you just pay the man?
They lost all their stuff, but they didn't lose their endless supply of money that allows them to buy new stuff. Evie almost dresses in accordance to the local customs, but still keeps her head and most of her face uncovered for maximum Middle Eastern-y sexiness. How many different angles of camels walking through sand do we need? Is it 8 shots? Yes, it is. The main responsibility of the Magi is to stand near the edge of this cliff and trot up to the edge of the cliff if they happen to see anyone.
According to Bembridge scholars, that's where we'll find a secret compartment containing the Golden Book of Amun-Ra.
For a supposedly secret place, there sure is a lot of information about it. This may be the easiest archaeological mission in recorded history. They walk right to this ancient undiscovered city, they walk right up to the Anubis head, which was still completely intact, went into a crevasse in the ground, and walked right up to the mummy's tomb. Tombs that were originally constructed to be seen can sometimes take months, and maybe even years to find, and these guys just walked up to one in a matter of days. If the Magi don't want people disturbing Imhotep's grave, they are doing a colossally shitty job.
According to these hieroglyphics, we're underneath the statue.
So let's poke a giant hole in the ceiling, causing potentially large and heavy objects to fall, likely killing us.
Blue gold.
Blue gold? What is this, a K Jewelers? Also, why wouldn't he assume it was some other blue stone, since blue gold doesn't exist? Is it because he's an idiot, and the movie also assumes we are idiots and cannot relate to any other stone that holds value?
He that shall not be named.
Voldemummy. Fun fact, flesh-eating scarab beetles make easy mac sounds while moving through a person's body.
A key. Now that's what he was talking about.
Evelyn plays the pronoun game, so Rick and Jonathan have to ask who the hell he is. The Magi managed to kill no one of any importance to the story.
Leave this place or die. You have 1 day.
1 day? You're giving them 1 day? The f*** for? And earlier in the movie they considered killing Rick just for knowing about this place, so why are they cool with 30 people knowing? Also, he couldn't have just calmly told them this in the first place. Instead, he shoots the place up first to build trust.
What is a place like me doing in a girl like this?
He will kill all who open this chest and assimilate their organs and fluids.
It's almost like the ancient Egyptians who set all this up wanted someone to bring Imhotep back and bring about the end of the world. They kept the body, the organs, and the black book all together, like some kind of apocalypse Blue Apron delivery.
See who's inside, shall we?
Given that everyone knows about the acid salt incident from before, why is anyone opening anything around here without the slightest bit of caution?
He left a message. Death is only the beginning.
While being viciously consumed by flesh-eating scarab beetles, he took the time to leave a note.
Who cares about a book? Where the hell's the treasure?
Right, because no one would care or pay a lot of money for an ancient book that predates all other books that supposedly brings people back to life. Dr. Allen is supposed to be one of the smart ones, right? Why the f*** is he still trying to open the oldest book in recorded history with brute force?
Look what I found. Scarab skeletons. Flesh eaters.
If these beetles were supposed to eat him alive, they did a job. He's still juicy, for God's sake.
Mas ibet baya. Imhatipin sumpike sitsue yatue yatue yatue.
What would have happened if they hadn't opened the sarcophagus? Would the mummy still be able to claw his way out? Man, kind of unlucky 2 different teams opened the exact 2 containers required to unleash a plague on the earth. Also, it takes a full hour for this mummy to movie. I know what I said. This wall of grasshoppers know exactly who the unimportant characters in this movie are and go to town on them. I guess with all the hullabaloo, Dr. Allen stole the book back from Evie to create this picturesque moment. What is this crazy hallway with Scooby-Doo doors that allows the mummy to always be behind this guy? This secret door leads Evie to Mr. Burns, who just lost his eyes. This must be a relatively small underground tomb. But you can still enunciate sounds that require the use of a tongue? I thought these beetles ate people very slowly, so why is this dude immediately devoured?
You have unleashed a creature that we have feared for more than 3,000 years.
Well, you don't know why we didn't destroy that map and kill you when we had the chance, but we are an insanely stupid group of people sworn to protect something so dangerous.
What did you do to him?
We saved him. Saved him before the creature could finish his work.
Excuse me, what? When were you down in that area to save him from anything? A couple of minutes ago, he was down here with Evelyn, and the mummy lost interest in him when he saw Rachel Weisz, as one does. Then Blast from the Past here shot the mummy and immediately went into the next room, where you assholes are now. So when did you get the chance to save the dude with the glasses?
Cho, Bullseye.
What a statement. I'm a man.
Imhotep takes so much time to kill Benny that he's able to Rolodex through all the main religions and their languages, and ends on the one that convinces the mummy not to kill him. Also, Benny wears a Janitor Keys-style necklace containing the symbols of all the major world religions, just in case his life is threatened by an otherworldly being who may be persuaded by one of those religions. Imhotep literally pulls gold out of his ass. Instead of just finding an exit like everyone else, Imhotep finds a low ceiling in this cave to punch his hand through.
Prince Imhotep thanks you for your hospitality.
Imhotep doesn't immediately kill Barents. This is the supernatural equivalent of playing with your food. Mummy with untold power decides to reach deep down into his bag of magic tricks and push Rick really hard. Cat ex machina.
Now because of you, we have failed.
Fuck you, dude. You failed because you failed. The woman who arranged this mission was right under Terrence's goddamn nose, and he let her leave with the map, a key to Imhotep's tomb, and the Book of the Dead. And Ardeth's idea of guarding the city is just looking at it while random armies come and go. Bedroom door conveniently locks from the outside. Seeing as how Imhotep needs to kill Daniels and Henderson in order to continue rejuvenating, this is kind of like protecting your cookie jar from Cookie Monster by enlisting 2 of your most delicious cookies to stand watch. Could have at least found a cat to hang out with them. Mummy could have killed him right here, but would rather do the horror movie cliche bull. Imhotep isn't going to be sneaking up on anyone making supernatural swoopy sounds like that. The director said, let's have your character eat a human like an apple, all the way down to his core, and in silhouette. It'll make you look like even more of a silhouette-y asshole.
Look what I got.
Man, this cat that showed up in the story only just now really turned out useful. Also, for some reason, they don't keep this cat with them from this point forward. Also, it occurs to me that these people should be rounding up all the cats they can find and putting them in strategic places. Which reminds me, they could have set up a whole cat colony around the mummy's tomb and let a bunch of strays guard this lost city into eternity. The Magi could have provided them food and kitty litter, and the world would be safe. This works.
It is time to make you mine forever.
For all eternity, idiot.
Even though Evie makes it clear that she can understand what Imhotep is saying, Benny still translates for him.
I'll be seeing you again.
Don't you want to kill this guy for throwing a cat in your face? Like, seriously, all he has to do is kill Rick right now and the movie is essentially over. Dr. Terrence wastes his martyrdom on these slow, stupid zombies instead of just escaping with everyone else. Got a question? If you can transform into a sandstorm and travel that way, why bother walking? Ever. Also, traveling by Sand Twister is just as fast as traveling by biplane. Shooting at sand! This plane crash only kills the pilot, and the 2 men who were strapped to the wings survive without a scratch.
Hey, Winston!
Winston is the character equivalent of a unitasker. He literally only existed to get them back to Hamunaptra, and immediately upon that happening, he dies. And not only does he die, he also gets pulled into the earth by quicksand, almost as if he and the plane never existed. Also, quicksand, in the desert, in this very spot, and able to submerge an entire plane. With the flick of a knife, Rick is able to burrow a determined beetle out of Jonathan's skin with little or no effort. Also, Jonathan doesn't suffer from internal bleeding or hemorrhaging caused by this beetle burrowing through his arm and into his shoulder. Skin is not like a tight-fitting shirt shrunk over your muscles. There's blood vessels and
Come here. Hurry your cats!
This asshole woke up 2 henchmen just to kill people he could easily kill himself. Time is not of the essence here. It's not like Imhotep is racing the clock. Sure, these guys should totally be able to do the job, but why go through any of the trouble? Shooting this mirror gets it to just the right angle to initiate the light mirror trick we saw the first time we were here. Did the ancient Egyptians actually bury people under their hidden treasure? Or are these dudes just popping up right here so our heroes will have a reason to start running again?
Hello, Horace, old boy!
Who decided where all these statues should go? Anubis was on the surface level, while Horus is stuck down here in the basement. I guess he was just waiting down here until the plot required him to exist. Kinda like Winston the pilot. Rick falls into the trap of believing human skin can light a match, and he's right.
Book of Amun-Ra.
Okay, so there's a book that can send Imhotep back to his undead state, and that's totally fine. But why would this book be hidden if the worst thing you fear is the mummy escaping his tomb? Shouldn't this book be with the Magi at all times? Or destroyed? First off, why was Jonathan allowed to run crazily into this room without Rick? Second off, it's pretty convenient that the book they needed was right next door to the place they needed to go next to stop the sacrifice. Imhotep is currently on some stairs watching this. Could easily be over right now, but sure, let's see if your henchmen can do the job. Were these guys mummified in a standing, ready for battle position like terracotta warriors without the hard outer shell? I have trouble imagining why that's necessary, or if it's even possible.
Finish the inscription on the cover, idiot! Then you can control them!
And until then, they work for Imhotep. It's a seniority thing. Movie inspires 75% of the Pirates of the Caribbean series. These mummies adhere to the henchmen will fight one at a time rule so rigorously, most of them are actually just standing and waiting their turn. This is the second time the mummy's girlfriend has experienced death by shadow. I I figure whatever attack Imhotep is about to perform here, he could have done it to everyone in this room and ended this about 45 minutes ago. He's an asshole, not because he wants to rule the world and revive his dead girlfriend using Evelyn, but because he wasted our time.
I thought you said it was gonna kill him!
Imhotep, of all people, should know that he's mortal now, so why does he approach Rick and the crew like he's still immortal? He saw his soul get dragged away by Santa a minute ago, so why is he being dumb about this? Yet another security system for this tomb, and again I'm left wondering why it wasn't used in the first place, way back when they buried Imhotep in this city underground. The ancient Egyptians really f***ed up this keep Imhotep buried forever thing. That stupid gold book was the whole reason any of this movie got started, and the movie decides to just throw it away at the last second because f*** you and sequels. This lowering ceiling doesn't know where it wants to be between these shots. As if the movie wasn't Raiders of the Lost Ark enough for you, this movie gives us one final stab at it before the credits. Everywhere Benny turns, another door is just closing at the last second, instead of already being closed, which is what they would be due to the synchronicity. These three rode out here on an airplane in a sand tornado, and no one else was in the city as far as we know. So where the f*** did all these camels come from?
You have earned the respect and gratitude of me and my people.
Ardeth forgot it was all their fault that Imhotep was revived in the first place.
Give me frogs, flies, locusts, anything but you.
Run, Benny, run!
Run, Forrest, run! I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
In the frozen land of Nador, they were forced to eat Robin's minstrels.
That's not fair at all. There was time now. There was all the time I needed.
Who's there?
Should never say who's there. Don't you watch scary movies? It's a death wish.
Ah, the map! I forgot the map!
Relax.
Oh.
I'm the map.
I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map.
Can you believe it, Cheech?
Will you just pay the man?
Pay that man his money.
Batu, Verada,